you've had, let's say, 10 different careers, and in each career you've hit the $1 million mark?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's easily noticeable too, because this is nothing that you even have to debate, right? So you can just say, okay, Bob, let's look at your movies. Well, I'm already vested in Hollywood, so that means I've already made more than $1 million, because that means the minimum I make from royalties is $60,000 a year, right, to be vested to have the SAG program. So we already know this. So how is that? Well, it's very easy. If you look back on the movies, when I started, I did Elektra. That's a Marvel comic movie that has a huge following. So that movie did no good in the box office, but everybody, Marvel comic, anything when it's Marvel, it's very unique. People feel like they need to get it to collect it because it's Marvel and it's going to be worth something. Now, I have no idea if the Elektra comic book that I'm in is going to be worth anything ever, okay, or the DVD, right? But just because Marvel, they're just used to that, right? They're programmed, so they will buy these items of Marvel, and so Elektra did very well. Then I did a remake of The Longest Yard. And that did very well, of course, because it got #1, right, in 2005. So that was the #1 movie there. So then that hit #1 that way. And then I did a remake of Conan the Barbarian. Again, nothing really big at the box office, but tremendous following. Conan the Barbarian has a tremendous following. You know, I'm kind of like the Mike Tyson or Bob Sapp. People want to see me fight. They'll, Bob, you're so great. I want to, okay, buy a ticket. Bob, you suck so bad. I'm going to see you lose tomorrow. Okay, buy a ticket. You know what I mean? And then I'm going to put it on YouTube. Aha, you lost. I'm going to put it on YouTube and show everybody, show my friends. Okay, no problem. I have all my claims on YouTube. So, you know, and I had no idea it was that profitable. But roughly for every 2,000 views on YouTube, you get $2. Can you imagine? I have over 100 million people views. Sai, he's #1 for that YouTube for he hit 2 billion or something like that. So he makes the majority of his royalties have come from that. It's no coming from this other music and stuff, because obviously all that stuff is pirated and people do all that stuff, right? So he was able to get that claim, and that claim alone helped him push from last year. I think he made like 8.1, so that helped him push alone to that mark. He said he made very little money for doing the music itself, but from the views and all of that stuff that he was able to push, and that would be correct. And I'm starting to learn, like, wow, y'all got a pretty sweet little game going here. I mean, these advertisers, something that most people have no idea. I had no idea. In Japan, they have pachinko. But the pachinko, when we go into those parlors, they had really nice machines, but in there it was bad advertising, and they'd bring celebrities in, and the celebrities would start talking. Now, if you've ever been in a pachinko parlor, it's so loud because those little balls are going everywhere, you know, and people are talking, and on top of it, or they got the little, so it's very loud in there. And so I was like, you know, you guys are bringing celebrities in here, and they're doing all this talking. No one's going to be interested in that, you know. So I was like, the first time they invited me to do a pachinko event, I walked out and I did the regular talking routine like they had me do, and I could see by the audience that it was terrible. You know, like people would walk away, or they'd be like, huh? You know, do like that. They'd be talking back and forth, you know. So I was like, and I was looking around, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a serious gold mine in here. Are you guys joking? So I immediately went back and said, Yuki, grab a notebook real fast. We're done. Give me a notebook. And I just wrote down every mistake that they had. And I said, this is great. Oh, I said, and I fixed. So what I did is I went back and I fixed all of those mistakes that they had. And I did over 100 pachinko events now that I have done. And I'm now #1 in the pachinko event. Now the laws have started getting, they did another Bob Sapp law, so now the laws are a little etchy whether they're going to bring celebrities in there as much, which definitely involves with the fact that I did so many. And in the other pachinko parlors, which is, I love this, some of the other producers that were bringing in, they were started to have some worry about tax problems, which means that they were receiving so much and giving me so little, but I was making them so much that they never really stopped to start count. I love, that's always a very big compliment. And, you know, and I was really happy for that one. Yeah, I love it. You know, they did that one for the foreigners, but then they took it off for the consumption tax. That was the first one when I got really popular. And then so they started saying, what, Bob's doing this? What are all these fighters and foreigners making over here for pride? That's when K1 started having those kind of problems. Remember that? And they started taxing all the foreigners they had retroactively. So they said, whatever the time is that Bob Sapp first walked into the country of Japan, we are now retroactively, you foreigners and everybody that has got to pay back the tax to do all of those things. So they hit everybody back with a huge tax, and I think it was 5%, but then they retroactively did it, so that was big time. And I mean, they stopped every fighters at the airport, they stopped all of that stuff. So, have you seen my slot machine? The one that they put out? At that time,
I avoid those places, to be honest.
Oh, normally so do I, but no problem when I'm going in there. My gambling, I do.
It's not that. I just can't handle the noise.
Yeah. Well, I figured my gambling I figured it was about enough with the punching and the, you know what I mean? I was like, I think I about gambled enough. When before the Mike Tyson, K1 invited me in. And we went to Las Vegas and we did this big kind of like Bob Sapp contest they had. And they were like, and I said, okay, and these people the Japanese never went to Vegas. And I said, we've never been to the slot machine either. So I said, okay, I'm gonna show you guys how to play slots. Give me some money, here we go. So I took like $100 out, and the TV's over here. Okay, I'm gonna show everybody. And my fans are the ones who won there. I take it, put it in there. I said, okay, and you have to win like this. Like 20 grand.
You won 20 grand.
Yeah. And I said, wow. And like in the other K1 stuff, they started laughing. They're like, dude, do you know how much? Bob, this is crazy, right? And the reason why they kept and everyone kept asking them, like, hey, look at, you look nowhere that excited, And I said, you're right, I'm nowhere that, and finally I got it, and it was because it came right after I had the NFL, the commercials, and all of that stuff. That's going to pale in comparison. So the only thing that I could do to get like that kind of good feeling, that kind of warm, good feeling, the only thing I could do to get that kind of high from that, it would be, so I gave the money to the fans that was there, and then I got the feeling back. Kind of nuts, right? And I have 3 college degrees, getting ready to get my 4th in finance because I enjoy it so much.
You haven't stopped. If you're telling me you're going for your 4th degree.
I'm getting, so now because of the finance and stuff, I'm looking at now we're in negotiations right now with Japan if they're going to send me over to London for School of Economics, and they also want to start to give me more of an education to work to involve my program system of saving money.
What are your other degrees in?
Sociology, pre-pharmacy, psychology, and then I'll get to the next one I'm going.
Pre-pharmacy?
Yes. I was in sociology when I was doing college football. And because I went year-round, they're on the quarter system at the University of Washington, so I went year-round. So that means I graduated even though it would be 4 years, if it's year-round, that quarter, I would take 1 quarter would be in the summer. So after 3 summers, that would be equivalent to 1 year. So 3 years would be equivalent to 4. So I graduated in 3 years, but if you look at it, it's really 4. So which is normal, but your scholarship is for 5. So I would have 2 more years left or 1 more year left, depending on how you look at it. So I went and got another one. So then I was, I had enjoyed it.
You have been playing the system for ages.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
Well, yeah. So I always say beat the system instead of playing it. But yeah. So and I'm 100% debt free. So that means 100%. So nothing that the bank sells, I have none of it. No credit cards, no mortgage, no nothing. I own my house, and I just do my investments for my mutual funds, and that's everything over a 1.5 beta and a high Sharp rating index to whatever. Since all of that is garbage, and I just sit back and laugh and drop after you have your house and your food, there's nothing past food and shelter. And I tell everybody that all the time, which is why it's very easy to do all of the things that I do that are in those high category of jobs, because I have no pressure from anybody to do that, right? I can actually take my time and devise my own derivative for success, and I just apply it.